Like, a kid can barely think of, like, tomorrow, you know? It's a miracle a kid can sustain gratification to the next hour.
It just goes to show how much the education system failed if they can't just adapt to some one new thing like taxes.
Exactly. They should have made you something that could adapt to change. And instead, that's where they failed. Instead of
basic
it wasn't
math,
about teaching
they send you the forms. Like,
you understand how to budget. Like, I'm sorry, you understand. Money, I mean, some people are horrible with money, it's true. Yeah. And some people have no idea what the hell they're doing. But, like, the whole idea is that it's like, the more of it you have, the more you have to float on. It might, become a more substantial kind of, and if you're constantly spending it as fast as it's coming in, especially on shit that's hurting you instead of helping you, then you're not going to move anywhere. You're just digging your tires into the rut deeper and deeper. And by the time you're 40, if that's all you've done, you're fucked. Yeah. There's no coming back from that. You're fucked. And, I think, there's a degree to life that, like, you have to fucking learn on the fly. You have to be able to get thrown into the fire and, like,
that's it, yeah.
All right, kid, here you go. Like, I'm certain almost everyone's parents...
You didn't teach me how to do this one specific skill.
Yeah.
It's like, I taught you how to do everything, how to learn. Yeah. I taught you how to learn.
I taught you how to talk and
do it.
And tie your shoe.
But there's one thing. Oh.
You gotta accept responsibility for your own damn life.
Oh, am I here?
There comes a point where you gotta stop blaming the education system because it's shitty. You gotta stop blaming your parents because they're just fucking people and they fucked up. And you gotta stop blaming the people of the past because they were just fucking people and they fucked up. And, get over it. What are you doing now that's setting that right? And I think that's how we justify the horrible things that have gone on in the past and our own horrible mistakes that we've all made, is that you have to live a life that makes all that okay. Like, it's redemption. You have to prove yourself worthy of living and living a good life, and a life that's good for you and good for your immediate social network and your family and the community and all these things. And that makes it right. That makes it worth it. That means the sacrifices that have been... all the blood that's been spilled in the past to get us here isn't for nothing.
People don't want to work hard and sacrifice things. They just want instant gratification, like they've had their whole lives. I want that. All right, here you go, son. I want this. All right, here you go. And now they're adults and they're saying, I want this.
Yeah.
And then they can't get it and they start crying like kids. I want to be happy all the time. Well, no.
Yeah, no.
You can't be happy all the time.
Grow up instead. I swear to God, growing up is better than being happy all the time. It is. Like, being able to walk around with some goddamn dignity.
I know.
And look yourself in the mirror and be able to face other people. That's better than just being fucking happy all the time. And being able to go through shitty experiences that make you angry and uncomfortable and all those things, and even, like, be able to solve the fucking mishap or problem in a way that actually improves the situation beyond what it was before. That's, like, the ultimate thing that everyone should be striving for. Like, you're the thing that fixes things. You're the things that make things better, instead of just this whiny burden on the rest of the world. Like, that happens, obviously. I have faith that there's a lot of hardworking, passionate people out there, because there always have been. And we wouldn't have anything we have now if there wasn't for those people who made those sacrifices. But so I guess there just have to be that many people still, then they'll just have to work out, or else it won't.
Yeah. Maybe we're just surrounded by too many whiny people, you know? Maybe we get the worst of it because we're so spoiled. And, I don't know.
Well, maybe the whiny people, it's just the people that gain the most attention because, squeaky wheel.
Yeah. Yeah. Hopefully that's the case, and there's a lot of good people. There's definitely a lot of good people I know personally, but I do think that a lot of people are trapped in, even if they are a good person, they're so trapped in their own lives and their own minds that they won't be able to get out to help people. So, which I think is a real problem, real psychological issue that's happening. I don't know how to help my friends, so many of them. Just their own worst enemies.
I feel like when I see shit like that, because it's like part of the whole science conundrum is that it tends to lean itself towards concluding that life is meaningless and human consciousness is meaningless and all that shit is just meaningless. There's no point to living. There's no point to anything. It may as well have all been nothing. And some people would argue that it should have all just been nothing. That life is so brutal and corrupt and bad that it should have just never happened. And, you know. So I know that for me, it wasn't until I heard it like put into words quite the right way, and it probably took a lot of different other people's words to put the framework down for it, but it's basically like you gotta, like, before the advent of science came about, it's like a new way of thinking, and it's not even like most people can do it. It involves removing everything subjective, and people from the past who were trying to figure things out, they weren't trying to figure out what the world was made of. They were trying to figure out what life is and what existence is. They're approaching it from the standpoint that it was meaningful to exist, to taste and touch and see and experience and have relationships and have emotions and all those things, go through the transformations of life. That was it. It was self-evidently purposeful and meaningful because it's so just goddamn profound. If you can never actually sit and meditate and just feel yourself just existing, just the general hum of your consciousness, and just thinking about the fact you exist, like, it just doesn't make any sense. It's the craziest fucking thing. And but it really breaks my heart when people talk about it so condescendingly, like just these absolute cynical judges of being. It's like, what? It's such a sad way to look at things, because I mean, no one's gonna have any motivation to actually live well if the whole thing is completely meaningless. But I think when it kind of settled into my understanding and I really let myself kind of head in that direction, that like all these religious teachings or the old mythologies and old stories were actually trying to talk about being and existing as if it's significant and profound, and taking that approach to it, and just even for the sheer fact that life will go better if we take that approach. And that's meaning enough to me, because the fact is we're all stuck here unless you have the balls or perhaps cowardice to commit suicide. I'm not sure which one it is, but you I'm sure it's, I don't know. It's not that you and I haven't thought about it, but it's, unless you're gonna just take yourself out of the game, you're stuck with the game. So why not play it in a way that it's gonna yield benefits?
That's right. So that's why you would lean more towards the religious point of view rather than the scientific one, because the scientific one seems nihilist. Like, the answer to why are we here from scientists is like, well, we're just a circumstance of these two things hitting, and the rest is history. Like, these rubbed together this way, and this exploded, and now you're here. So you want to know why you're here? It's just because. Just because you are. It's just like, well, that just sucks. Well, I'm just here just because
I'm just suffering away for no goddamn
these
reason.
things made it, and here I am now just because of that. All that just leads to this. Well, that's not very fun.
I think people who actually think that, and I didn't know what to think for a while. I was toying with all those ideas. I probably said them.
Evolution?
Just saying things like, "Oh, it's not just a freak accident."
You know.
But I don't think I was taking consciousness itself nearly as seriously as I should have been.
Right.
Like, the sheer fact of experience, if you really, when I really think about it, it's the craziest thing. Like, just saying it's an accident, it's like, well, doesn't that make it even fucking crazier that it just happened? Like, something as fucking crazy as you experiencing a life,
just happened.
even if it just happened, is that doesn't take away from the profundity of it for me. That just adds to the fucking bizarreness of the whole thing. It's like, well, I can make even less sense of it now for sure.
But it doesn't give you a sense of purpose.
No.
That's what people are really looking for when they say, why am I here? Because they want to know, what the fuck am I supposed to do right now? And they're like, well, you're just here cuz. And then you're like, well, now I got anxiety because I'm here and I feel like I should be doing something, but you're telling me I don't have to do anything.
Yeah, well, that's just it. I think the culture is kind of collectively looking towards things like money and things like science as being like, Okay, so what am I supposed to do?
These things,
Nothing.
yeah.
You're just, there's no point at all. Oh,
you're just like
great.
frogs.
Yeah.
Alright, away you go.
Away you go. Live your life.
Yeah. You can do whatever you want.
That's just not even close to true. You can't do whatever you want. It's just not. That's. There's other people who are going to be like, fuck off.
Yeah.
Stop doing that thing. None of us like that.
I'm going to stop you from doing that.
Yeah, I'm going to. Yeah, what I want to do is stop you from doing that. But, yeah, I mean, I do, because I feel like science can't answer a question like that. I think a question about why you're here is like, well, why is there life?
Yeah.
I'm just gonna put that aside for now. Like, you yourself, I think it's on the individual human being to justify their own existence, because you have to figure out like who you are, and it's not something that anyone can tell you. You have to sit down with yourself and be like, what do I want to do? What am I interested? And you have to pay attention to what you do.
You have to take responsibility for your life and saying, I chose to be here because I could have chose not to be here. I could have jumped off that bridge at any moment. I chose to be here, so I better shut the fuck up about it.
Yeah.
You know, like, if I don't want to be here, I can leave.
Yeah, the door's wide open for everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Take responsibility that you're here and for your actions, but no one seems. Well, not no one. People don't.
It depends on what you want too. Like, if you want to have a meaningful life, you have to figure out how life could be meaningful for you, and answer those questions for yourself. And that means like having experiences that teach you things, even if it teaches you that you don't want anything to do with that thing. That's good information. Okay, avoid that. My life would be better without that, or that shitty job, or that shitty person, or who knows. And so that's part of the refinement process. And then also just paying attention to where you naturally feel inclined, like that pull to like read philosophy or something. Like just, I seem to be doing this thing a lot with my free time. Like, how do you spend your free time? Mm-hmm. And maybe some people don't spend it in any productive way at all, but I don't know what to do. But
don't just be stagnant. Don't be
stagnant. Figure out, you have to give your own life purpose. I think people, whether or not life has purpose, I don't know. I don't know how to put any answer into words for that, but how to have the experience of a purposeful life means that you yourself give it purpose. You get out of bed on purpose. It's free will. That's the thing that's peculiar about human beings, is we like are aware of this choice, and you have to actually decide to live every day. And it means more than just existing, floating around. It means you have to actually decide where you're going. You have to take aim, and you have to head in a direction. You have to actually live on purpose. Yeah. And you're not going to experience life as meaningful otherwise.
Yeah. It's like, how do you learn how to do that when everything's been given to you, though? How do you, like, learn how to conquer things on your own when every time there's a problem you call on someone else to do it? When money can get you everything that you need.
Yeah. Well, it's like, that's just a consequence of a faulty operating system or something.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you're fucked if you have parents that protect you too much. Because then you never learned any vital skills that can only come about through like visceral contact with the world. The fact that you jumped off that thing and broke your arm means like, oh fuck, I'm not gonna do that again. I mean, you gotta have those experiences. It's like some part of you should want, like, if your kid comes home with a broken arm, yes, you should fucking be heartbroken, and you should fucking tend to the kid and do everything in your power to heal that fucking broken ass arm. But a part of you should be like, you know, the kid's still alive, it's just a broken arm, I'm glad he's not dead. And this is gonna toughen him up, it'll be good, you know, it's gonna heal, it's gonna be okay. I mean, unless it's really fucked and it's not gonna be okay, but even still, I mean, that might yield some unforeseen benefits. It's dark, but it's the truth of the matter that those brutal experiences are what toughen people. And the shitty fact of the matter is that you gotta be tough, because life sucks and it's hard.
I think we need I just thought of a practical application to how we make the education system better, and we need more guidance counselors, and we need higher moral standards when hiring these guidance counselors. We need to find out what every person is best at and start moving them towards that if we want a society that's going to be full of great people doing great things. Like, I can just imagine, like, you know, you're a guidance counselor. Say we hire 10 times as many guidance counselors that we have. Almost enough that there's one for every classroom, you know. That guidance counselor can hone in, watch every single student, and find out what they're best at. That's their job. The teacher's job is to give the information. That's the teacher's job. But then this guidance counselor is like watching them grow and studying them and saying, okay, this person would be best for this, and start organizing their curriculum based off what they're good on.